For a hero with only one active skill, Wraith King's background is so much more complicated than it needs to be. While his gameplay is remarkably straightforward, the once and future king started life out as a skeleton, turned into a baller, and pressing ceremonial reasons transformed him into a glowing green monarch. Take a knee, peasants. It's time for the history of Wraith King. Wraith King's story starts back a long ways away, so much so in fact that he used to be called Leoric, the Skeleton King. Part of the initial group of heroes in the original Dota in 2004, Skeleton King in his first run was characterized by pure simplicity. His character model was a basic undead summon unit, he had no voice lines, and his only active skill, Hellfire Blast, was a basic point-and-click stun. His three other abilities were passives. Vampiric Aura gave him an AoE lifesteal to allies, Mortal Strike provided critical chance, and Reincarnation revives him with full health and mana, provided that he has enough mana when he dies the first time around. Skeleton King was also a direct homage to the second boss of Diablo who shared the same name. Vampiric Aura is a reference to the item that the King Leoric in Diablo drops, as they both provide lifesteal. The similarities would only expand as Skeleton King gained a nice little hat in patch 6.55 of Dota All-Stars to mirror his namesake. The King Leoric of Diablo will play a role in the development of Wraith King later, but let's move on for now. Given what you know of Skeleton King so far, it would stand to reason that there is no possible way to screw up while playing him, right? Well, let's just say for some reason that you went through 12 rounds of fist tag and your severely concussed head decided that you wanted to play a ranked match of Dota. Luckily for you, a player by the name of Crimson Queso took it upon himself to write a guide for Skeleton King, and it unknowingly blew everyone's ass right off! Caps Lock Leoric is a guide for, and I quote, Leoric, who is the manliest hero in Dota that does not have testicles. This 2,000 word guide, written like a trailer for a one-man action movie, goes in detail over the rationale of item builds, skill order, and even a teamfight scenario. Although this entire guide is presented as a joke, it did offer some fairly solid advice on how to play Skeleton King, with tips such as, if you are a true man, your first item should be 2 gauntlets. Fuck those Michael Jackson wannabes with only 1 gauntlet. Is my team all melee because collectively we have a learning disability? Get a Vlads. I followed your guide and I didn't win. Blame your team. The over-the-top presentation and unexpected thoroughness of this guide made it a huge hit in the Dota community. Years after it was released, you could still find it being referenced wherever you could find a discussion for Dota. This guide had influenced the community so much that Wraith King actually quotes some of the lines.
I'll help my weak and puny allies where I can. Now your king is balling out of control.
On October 20th, 2011, Skeleton King finally made his debut in Dota 2. Now named Astarion, Skeleton King is the victim of a backfired longevity spell, turning into a goofy tyrant whose sole purpose is to add more bones to his kingdom. By this time, the only thing that changed about his abilities were Hellfire Blast gaining a slow and damage over time, while Reincarnation slowed movement speed and attack speed of enemies upon cast. That is, until patch 6.78. Mortal Strike gained an active component that siphoned 20% of an enemy's max health, while granting the same amount to Skeleton King temporarily. During this time, the passive component would be disabled, but if he got it on someone, then they're already dead. This literally doubled the amount of active skills of the hero, effectively making it so that you need 200% of the brain power to perform all of the mechanical functions associated with him. This change gave a breath of life into Skeleton King's kit, as it fit in thematically and synergized well with Hellfire Blast, making it an overall welcome addition that made playing the Bone Lord all that much more fun. And that's why it was removed in the next patch. On December 10th, 2013, an update was released that contained a single line of text. Skeleton King, removed for pressing ceremonial reasons. Over the next couple of days, updates for the somewhat annual winter event Frostivus came up. It was then revealed on day 3 that Frostivus would be cancelled for Wraith Night, an event where Skeleton King would transform into an entirely new entity. According to the post, Skeleton King's bones had started to crumble after too many resurrections, and chose to seek out a new form that could last well into eternity. Wraith Night was a tower defense-esque game where heroes would protect the king as the ceremony happened behind them. For every monster that was slain, their souls would act as tribute for Astarion's metamorphosis into his wraithly form. By the end of this event, Astarion came back as the newly titled Wraith King. Which, you know, we kind of have to talk about. I mean, osteo means bone. So maybe we could rename him like, Spiritus? Or Croissant Man. Although there was no official statement given as to why Valve decided to change our boy from bones to goo, it is speculated that this was done to avoid potential legal issues with Blizzard. Dota 2 already had to change a lot of the names of characters and items around in order to be on the safe side, but when your title is Skeleton King, and you make a model that is the most visual representation of that, there isn't much you can do outside of rehauling the entire character. Leoric the Skeleton King became a playable character in Heroes of the Storm in 2015, so whether it was to evade copyright infringement or just to simply reduce confusion, the catalyst forced Valve to make a necessary change. Since the conversion, Wraith King has gained an Aghanim Scepter upgrade in patch 6.84, which turns his allies into Wraiths temporarily upon death. Although this upgrade does have a niche role in picking off enemies with revenge kills, the real value was in being able to safely carry a Divine Rapier back to the base without single-handedly costing your team the game. In the 7.0 update, Wraith King received talents along with everyone else in the game. Unfortunately, nothing really stands out too much outside of one of his level 25 talents, which makes reincarnation cost 0 mana. So you know, eat shit, Anti-Mage. In November of 2017, patch 7.07, otherwise known as the Dueling Fates update, changed a lot of things around. Some heroes got nerfs, some heroes got buffed, but Wraith King got a conundrum. Mortal Strike now summons skeletons. Is this Valve's way of giving us Skeleton King back? Why wouldn't he summon Wraiths? The lore specifically states that Wraiths are better because bones can break, so he can barely even remember his time as a skeleton. Wait a minute. 7 skeletons. 7.07.